This is the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards. On this special edition of the MQP, Tori Kravitz, who got into the music industry as a music blogger when she was only 14 years old. I want to ask about that. That's coming up. In 2010, after garnering a following of 30,000 YouTube subscribers and amassing millions of views, she went on to create content for the Vans Warped Tour in 2015, 2016, and 2018, and freelancing for Alternative Press magazine. To now, she works for Atom Splitter PR. She works with bands like POD, Wage War, Skillet, Capstan, Make Them Suffer, and so many more, too. She also hosts not one, but two podcasts. A femme-focused podcast, which of course we love here on the Metal Queens podcast, called She's with the Band, and a long-form documentary series about live show production called Beyond the Breakdown. Happy to have Tori Kravitz join me now here on the Metal Queens podcast. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on MQP. I didn't realize there was like an acronym for it. I love that. But
I
thanks for
had
the
to
intro.
do that. Yeah.
Appreciate it. It's cool. I like it. But
Thank
thanks for
you.
having me. It's cool to be here. And obviously, we're very aligned in our missions. So
We are. We are.
perfect.
So, how and when did you get into metal?
Man, I feel like it was just like a slow build throughout my life. I mean, when I was very, very young, I was growing up on like both the Backstreet Boys, but then also like Queen. So it was more
Mm.
like mainstream rock and pop. But then as I entered my rebellious teen era, I found Flyleaf and came over, found Vale's early stuff, and just kind of was digging through his iTunes at the time and my little iPod Nano and just found like the Vans Warped Tour scene, pop punk, and bands like Hey Monday. So I've always liked all different subgenres, but Teen Rebellion comes around and the heavy music begins.
Yeah, your nickname is Warped Tory from
Yeah.
doing all and covering those Vans Warped tours. So you were a DIY, back to the acronyms, music blogger when you were 14. Did
Yeah.
someone inspire you? You just said, I'm doing this.
It's funny because I I always loved music, and on MySpace, it was a big thing to promote the bands I loved. I'd post little bulletin posts back then, and I loved promoting music. And I had some friends who were music bloggers who were around my age who were doing it themselves. And I kind of was just like, wow, it never crossed my mind that all this hustling I'm doing to promote music I love, I could make it. Not necessarily did I think it'd be a career back then, but I could do it in a more official way or have my own platform for it. And one of the first bloggers who was on camera that really inspired me was the Warped Tour pit reporter from 2010.
Mm.
I watched her religiously. I loved her. So that was what first sparked in my brain that that was a possibility for my future too. So yeah, it was just kind of I had examples around me of people who were equally passionate, and so I was all for it.
And fast forward to today, as I mentioned, you have not one but two podcasts. What's the goal behind your podcasts?
That's a great question, actually. Funny enough, I feel like I don't really get asked that too much. I mean, first and foremost, the goal for me is I love music so much and being able to talk about it and find out the why and the how between the music I love. And I think there's something really poignant about doing what you're passionate about because just by the love of it and the care of it, you're contributing something positive. So, just on a personal level, I feel like I'm able to bring something positive into the scene in my own way. But with She's of the Band specifically, it's very much to give women a platform to share their stories in a way that's through a femme lens. Because
Yeah.
I mean, no offense, because you're doing a great job too, but like so much of music press is through the male gaze or through
Yep.
the male point of view. And I think what I didn't expect to come out of She's of the Band was I created a safe space where we're having conversations that I've never heard these artists have anywhere else. And we're just kind of going where the conversations flow, whether it's talking about the challenges we face as women. And I'm able to understand that as a fellow professional in the industry, or if we're just shooting the shit and talking about just funny stuff. Um, but ultimately, it's just to create that platform of let me show you how many incredible women there are in this scene. It's not scarce.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
true. I've got an artist coming up, an interview I'm doing later today, and in her bio, in the first sentence, it's in a male-dominated world. And, that was
Yeah.
one of my goals too, is just, to give them a voice and, a platform which is limited. And it's great what you're doing too. Favorite interviews so far for you and why?
Whoa. Ever? That's a crazy question. I've just done so
I
many, like
know.
there's no way to really pick one, but my gut instinct of recent interview that stands out for me was Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm.
Mm, yeah.
Because for me, she was a really important woman on my path because she's been doing this long enough and she's just much older than me that she was someone I looked up to when I was young. And so she was just a really great example of power and confidence, professionalism, being gracious and grateful for what you have, always hustling. I just admire her and the way she conducts herself so much. And I was able to be kind of vulnerable with her in that interview and she was really gracious to me, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, just announced their big tour in the US and also in Europe too. She's got a lot going on now with Hailstorm. What
Yeah.
bands and artists, it is festival season. We're going to get into fashion here in just a moment. What bands and artists are you looking forward to seeing and covering? I'm sure you're going out to a lot of the festivals, if not all of them.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be keeping busy. Well, first and foremost, Alice in Chains is my all-time
Mm.
favorite band. They're playing Welcome to Rockville this year. Super excited for that. Green Day, I've never seen them live, which is like how is this
Wow.
possible? I've just always missed them. Like just has not happened for me. They will be at Welcome to Rockville. I finally checked that off the list. Ginger will be at Welcome to Rockville. We're talking femme powerhouses. Tatiana is another favorite of mine. Um, there's just so many, but I think those are the standouts. Oh, Let Live is making their comeback this year. I'll see them at Warped Tour.
Mm.
Warped Tour is coming back. That in
Yeah.
general is super exciting. So yeah, those are the standouts that are fresh in my mind. But everyone always, I just love being there.
All right, Tori. So the big question is always, I know when I go to shows with a good friend of mine, she's always texting me going, "So, what are you wearing?" And of course, being a wise ass, I'm like, black. That's the first thing I'll always say back to her, just to fuck around with her. But all right, festival fashion this year. Some tips on that.
It's a loaded question. Are we
Mm.
talking just in general for anybody, like things you should, let's see, insoles on the shoes. Let's talk
Yes,
about insoles.
that's a good one. Start with the feet. Absolutely. Yeah.
Way up, feet up. Not sexy advice at all, but it is practical. Waterproof shoes because you never know what the weather's going to do. So wear something that, like, if it does rain, you're not going to have a really bad time. Closed toed if you're going in the pits, which I hope you are. um, I, especially for women, we struggle with pockets around here. So I do suggest pockets. Um, or just have a really good bag with you, whether it's a crossbody or a fanny pack. Make sure it's clear if it's not a small bag, because look at the festival policies for
Yeah.
bags. But pockets are always a nice choice. I personally really love just like athleisure for festivals, leggings, athletic skirts, athletic dresses, anything that's kind of like sweat proof in addition to being fashionable. I like to find that balance. So I don't know, like look cute, but also make sure that you can move, that you're comfortable, that you can walk around in it all day. Um, yeah, I guess those are like main tips that come to mind.
Now, these days are like what, 12 hours almost. Will
Yeah.
you change your wardrobe? Do you have the benefit to do that throughout the day?
You mean outfit changes through the
Yes.
day? Oh, I don't have time for that. No way.
There is no time.
No way. Why would I change my outfit when that's another band I could be seeing? No
Right.
way.
Right. You're going to miss
I
something.
Yeah.
True.
And I definitely like to look good for a festival. I love that you can kind of think out of the box of what you would maybe wear on a normal basis and wear something, whether it's a little more showy or it's a little more like bold or whatever it is. So I like to have fun with the fashion, but I don't want to have to change in the middle of the day for
Yeah.
sure.
How many festivals are you going to this year? All of them?
I kind of fly by the seat of my pants with my festival plans. So, like right now, I have Welcome to Rockville for sure. I'll be at least at one Warp Tour, maybe two. See where time goes. I have Louder Than Life on my radar.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed for that one. Um, so we have at least four. I'm hoping for more.
Mhm.
I'm greedy. I want to go to them all the time.
Yeah, it's going to be louder than life for me this year.
Nice. Maybe I'll see you out there. I hope
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, definitely. She's Tori Kravitz. Follow her on Instagram, Twitter. It's Tori Kravitz. And she's got a lot of great content up there. Don't forget about the podcast, too. She's with the band, and then the long form one about live show production called Beyond the Breakdown. Tori, thanks for joining me here on the MQP.
Steve, thanks for having me.
All right.
Pleasure.
And this is the Metal Queens podcast. Like it, subscribe to it, and thanks for watching. And rock on. I'm Steve Richards.